NectarzWithin, all about mind, life, and soul enhancement.
Hi, Sai. How are you? Welcome to my show.
Thank you, Kiran. It's a pleasure to be here.
First of all, even before I would say you are my guest, and you are one of my very close friend. And yeah, like we have given a very wonderful overview about you. The moment I just started this podcast, it was you the first person I just consulted. Hey, I'm going to do this. How is it? And you were very appreciative about it, and you just gave me the much needed kick to kickstart with the program. And first of all, I'm so thankful for it. We have a very fantastic story about you. Before all, probably people might be also knowing, at least in tech fraternity, that you're already an established, especially in the principles of lean and agile. And secondly, on the diversity inclusion topic, we are going to talk in detail about it. And before all, I'd like to know, you have this childhood fascination about numbers. And you have this very habit of making those calculations to your mom and everything. And when I read through your LinkedIn profile, you're so crazy about those things, the numbers and calculations. What is that, and why is it, and where does it start from? How that fits with your personality? Maybe you can just open up with that.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here. You try to diminish your hard work by saying that I am giving you the kick, but I think this podcast is your brainchild and you're doing amazing things with it. You're exposing the extraordinary lives of ordinary people is what the one-liner you said, and that itself was this was amazing, which many people don't really think about. So you're doing great stuff, so I'm really happy and proud of what you're doing. And there is also a part of what you're doing which I really connect with. I think we'll talk about it later as well. Regarding your question, math has always been a very fundamental aspect of my life. My mom used to joke that when she was pregnant with me, she was working as an accountant for a company because she didn't want to sit at home. My father was still doing a good job back then. But still my mom was feeling idle at home and she started working as an accountant, and she used to say that that's the reason why you got math. I don't know whether that's truth or not. We have heard a lot of mythology stories where they say you learn something in your womb.
Yeah.
Maybe it is that, I don't know. But I think that math
maybe
has
we could have a scientific thing, maybe genetical.
Yeah, it could be genetical also. She had a very strong affinity for mathematics. My father was an engineer, so that was also there. I think that logical part has really helped me throughout my life. I've noticed that whenever you're faced with uncertain things, that logical mindset, that math, being able to find a solution to the problem instead of trying to add some feelings to it, making it muddled with a lot of emotions.
Now we told about logical part. It helped you in your life in mathematics. Can you just rethink about an incident, how it was helpful, maybe from your life journey till now? Can you just share one thing, how the logical mind really helped you to solve a specific event in your life?
Life itself is just one of the different permutations we choose, right? When you study about permutations and combinations in mathematics, there are so many possibilities, there are so many choices. With a dice, you can have so many combinations possible. With 2 dice, you have 6 into 6, 36. So you have multiple combinations possible. Life is just basically that. So I think in every aspect of life, you're presented with multiple options, I think. And that is where math helps. So you can basically choose okay, I'm going to take this path based on these many factors. So I think using that mathematical or analytical mindset, what I've done is I've always tried to understand the pros and cons of each situation. And there is a little bit of gambling that you have to do. There is no 100% chance that a step that you take will be perfect.
And when you said this analytical mind, logical mind you apply here, maybe you applied it, you knew the fruit of it, it helped you in a very big way.
Mm-hmm.
So for our viewers, is there something as a tidbit, if you like to just tell in a simple terms, a simple formula or a equation based on experience, and not necessarily with the buzzwords, but simply what would be that takeaway for them from your life on this specific mindset?
I think I would summarize or connect that with stoicism or the stoic philosophy. I think the stoicism itself is a movement which started in Greece and Rome. I think that basic philosophy or the formula that you're asking for is to maximize your positive emotions, minimize negative emotions, and working on one's virtues. So try to always optimize how much positive emotions you can have, satisfaction you have with life, trying to reduce the negative emotions like jealousy, anger, hatred and everything in your life, and working on your own virtues. Like for example, what you're doing right now is like, you are utilizing one talent of yours to connect with people, to tell a story. Like those are the virtues, right? Or like helping other people, caring for the society. That is stoic philosophy. I think it's partly connected to the analytical mindset also. And I was even reading a research recently which also talks about these things. There's a Harvard expert called Mr. Arthur Brooks. He's a Harvard professor and he's a happiness expert.
Okay.
And he was recently talking in a podcast where he was mentioning that happiness is not a feeling.
Okay.
Happiness is a state of mind. And he was mentioning 3 factors to it. And I think that is the factors I can also say to people, because he's an expert. I'm not an expert in that. He's done research on it. He says there are 3 factors to it, which is also connected to stoic, I feel. One is satisfaction. Satisfaction happens when you overcome challenges in life, obstacles, when you make something out of your life. That is satisfaction. Then enjoyment. And enjoyment is not like pleasure, but it's more about how you make long-lasting memories with your friends, family, people around you. And the third part, he says, is meaning. Meaning is trying to find the purpose in your life. So I think these are also connected to kind of a stoic philosophy. So when I was listening to his podcast, I was like, okay, these are pretty much connected to stoic philosophy, the happiness, reducing the negative things in life and trying to find that meaning, connection with the world around you. I think that is the formula, I would say, to everyone, because these are there by experts. These have existed for centuries. We're not reinventing anything.
So in a nutshell, what you mean is find meaning for your life. That's the first step.
Yeah.
So when you distill it, you will get to know the happiness quotient, which is to do something satisfactory, enjoyment.
Yeah.
And eventually when you still narrow it down, when we have this meaning of life very, very much definitive, eventually when you also define your happiness quotient, you will easily find how to analytically approach your life, which option works for you at the moment.
Yeah.
A or B or C. Is A connecting with the meaning of your life? No. Is B connecting with meaning? Yes. So this how. So I think this way you mean like we also have a happiness quotient, in an enormous way, and decrease our negative feelings. So is this flowchart?
I think it's nobody would have summarized it much better than this. I think indirectly we are all doing this thing, but we have not defined it in a framework or anything. Yeah. Indirectly, most of us are doing these things. If you work on the happiness quotient, I think many of the problems we face in life, once we start analyzing it, we realize it's because of a lot of negative emotions attached to it. We do certain things out of we feel bad to certain people out of hatred or some regret of something that happened, or some bad emotion. That's the reason why many of our difficulties happen in life. But the moment you start focusing on this happiness quotient, trying to find the meaning, you will notice that many of these negative emotions are very trivial, have no connection to the larger picture, and then you start like minimizing them. It is very difficult to completely let go of them. We are not saint. Otherwise, it'll be in orange clothes here. We'll be like some Sayananda and Kiranananda. But we are not saints here. But we can try to minimize them as much as possible. We are still humans. We will tend to have them. But it is best to
minimize as much as possible.
Yeah, if you get the feeling, it's okay to have that feeling. But just like how many philosophers say or many saints say, get that feeling, but this acknowledge it as okay, this is a feeling I'm feeling temporary, it's an impermanent, it's like a short-term feeling. It will just go on and just move away from it, instead of like getting really like connected to it and making your entire personality or life about that negative emotion. Just face it, just throw it down and just move on. I think that is the easiest way to move forward in life.
Dear listeners, I strongly believe that this episode must have resonated with you. Lots and lots of takeaways from this episode. What is that one thing which was so inspiring you from this episode? Leave that in comment section. Can't wait to see that. And I definitely respond to it. With that note, thank you, Tadde, Namaste, and Vanakkam.
Transforming minds and enriching lives.